Marker.
Camera set.
Action!
In the triple-digit heat of a Louisiana plantation, cameras captured the nightmare of slavery in a way we haven't really seen before.
Same as the rest. Master brought you here to work, that's all. Any more will earn you 100 lashes.
It's the intensely personal story of one man, Solomon Northup, whose journey into bondage also began a journey for the actor who portrayed him.
Days ago, I was with my family. In my home. Now you tell me all is lost.
At 36, Chiwetel Ejiofor is hardly a household name, but his harrowing performance in the film 12 Years a Slave is beginning to change all that.
I survive! I will not fall into despair. I will offer up my talents to Master Ford. I will keep myself hardy till freedom is opportune.
He's been nominated for almost every Best Actor award out there this season, including an Oscar.
Chiwetel Ejiofor in 12 Years a Slave.
His first and one of 9 nominations for the film itself. Who was the first person you called?
Well, actually, it was my mother, but she called me, so...
Did she?
Yeah, she kind of beat me to it.
How often would you come here?
I come here like sort of maybe once every few months, I think. Yeah, just...
We met him at the LA County Museum of Art, where Winslow Homer's painting, The Cotton Pickers, seemed to resonate in a different way.
The sort of mind-numbing nature of the work that's going on that creates its own insanity.
12 Years a Slave is the true tale of a New York violinist, born a free man, but who's ripped away into slavery by kidnappers. The story intrigued Ejiofor, he says, because it was told from the slave's perspective. And yet, after reading the script, he almost turned it down.
I felt something that I didn't expect to feel, actually, which was just self-doubt. You know, I just wondered whether I could tell the story, and I felt the responsibility of it, and I felt intimidated by it, actually.
So what changed?
Well, in the end, what changed was I read the book.
At the quaint Mystery Pier Books off Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood,
I didn't know it was here, actually. I don't live too far away.
we found a rare copy of Solomon Northup's book.
Here it is.
Isn't that amazing?
The first edition.
It was a bestseller back in 1853 when he penned it, complete with illustrations.
The look on his face, this kind of strange, almost relaxed kind of way. To come out of that experience and to write about it with such kind of, you know, gentility and poetry.
And grace, really.
Yeah, and absolute grace. Was something that really stunned me, and I realized that this was a person that just had something to teach.
Chiwetel Ejiofor was born in London, but his parents were Nigerian, and he says Africa always held a personal, yet tragic place. While visiting Nigeria for a wedding, a car accident claimed the life of his father, a doctor and talented musician. You were injured pretty seriously as well.
I was injured very badly, and I was very close to not surviving.
Acting became his outlet. He eventually enrolled in the prestigious London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. But despite a clear talent, some sensed a problem. There were some fellow actors of yours who at one point said, you know, you're probably going to have to change your name, otherwise you're going to end up being typecast in all these kind of roles. Did you feel that?
Well, no, because the way that it was presented to me back then was that somebody had said to me that if you don't change your name, you're going to end up playing a lot of African parts, you know. To which I was like, that's great.
You wanted that?
Like, I want to play African parts, you know what I mean? I'm an African.
It didn't take long. Before he was even out of school, he found himself courted by none other than Steven Spielberg for a role as a translator in Amistad.
A chief cannot become anything less than a chief, even in death.
And his career blossomed from there.
And made their marriage vows to each other.
He soon found himself opposite Keira Knightley in Love Actually.
I therefore proclaim that they are husband and wife.
And he earned a Golden Globe nomination for his performance as a drag queen in Kinky Boots. But 12 Years a Slave wasn't just another role. It was personal for Ejiofor. He went to the historic port of Calabar in Nigeria to do research. It's a place so many had been chained and sold into the slave trade. He followed their route to Savannah, Georgia, and toured a slave market, where one of Africa's largest ethnic groups, the Igbos, were prepared for auction.
There was a sequence of extra bolts on the walls, and I asked the guy what the extra bolts on the walls were for, and he said, well, that was for the Igbos. You know, and he had no idea about my background and my history and the fact that I'm Igbo and my family. And I just remember I sat down and just a very quiet, solemn reflection.
When you realized, I guess, that you were part of it, you were there in a sense.
Absolutely. You know, I think that you feel that, of course, it was you on the boat, and it was you in the alcove, and it's amazing.
Then and there, Ejiofor vowed to make Solomon's story his, down to the smallest detail, even learning to play the violin.
It's sort of the actor's nightmare, because it's a very difficult instrument to play, but it's a very easy instrument to look like you can't play. You know?
Can I speak of what did not occur?
I'll cut your black throat, master!
His immersion into Solomon Northup, though, took its toll. Re-entering the world of red carpets and award banquets wasn't easy.
I just didn't want to be the guy at the party who was constantly talking about man's inhumanity to man. You know?
Whatever the hardship, Chiwetel Ejiofor is most proud that Solomon's tragic tale, forgotten for so many years, is now fresh again in the minds of millions.
The nature of this story and the kind of reflection it is on somebody's life and a man's life, and how so many years later that still can have a real impact, very strong impact. And that's just a very powerful thing, I think.